Welcome. This is AJ's Political Views, where we connect people in politics and make political speech easy to understand, give you that old school radio talk show type of vibe with a little podcast on the side. I do want to welcome everybody to our channel. We have a lot of boycotts that are going on, which I support the 28th uh, of this month, which is only a couple of few days away, where we supposed to restrain from spending money, any forms of money, whether debit card or anything. Just don't do anything. And I support that. I think it's a good idea. But I also realize that our strategy has to get beyond or go beyond just doing boycotts. That is communities beginning to organize and realize that we need one another more now than we've ever needed one another before. And we cannot allow them to divide us. Cannot let them divide us. We have to work together to accomplish an objective that's going to be beneficial for everybody here. During the integration in the area of housing, Black people were able to buy houses wherever they wanted to buy a house. There was a time when we couldn't buy a house at all, let alone choosing which area we want to buy the house. The Fair Housing Act made it possible for us to purchase houses in areas where we normally at one time could not purchase houses, let alone even purchase a house at all, as I said earlier. European YT people had an issue with living next to or having Blacks in their communities. And a lot of them that could packed up, sold their houses, relocated around late 60s, early 70s, all the way to the 80s, 70s and then 80s. Now people are realizing that it was actually better for them when we had our own. It was better for us, actually. When we lived in our own communities and had our own doctors and had our own attorneys and churches and grocery stores and warehouses. And we kept the money in our community and it was good for us. Then we had our church. The civil rights movement happened through the church, through religion. And you have to understand that what we're dealing with right now is a different type of civil war, civil rights movement. It's a white civil rights movement because they're using reverse racism. They're not they're not talking about the things that we did not have, and we didn't have rights to buy a house, which they always had the right to purchase house. They always could go into a bank and get a loan. They always had a doctor or attorney in their communities. They always already had grocery stores and things into their community, when in many cases we had to go into their areas to shop because we did not have those things in our own community. And when we did, some kind of way they would come through there and buy it, purchase it, put a Black man out in front, make you think he owned it, but he didn't own it. But there was a lot of shenanigans that was going on in our communities. I'm not saying that all Black people were good, because we had some shady individuals just like we got now. We had shady Black people back then, and we got shady Black people now. I'm not surprised when I see people that look like me on social media praising and glorifying this individual that is literally trying to make it difficult for our lives, and they run around here smiling and grinning and bragging about a person that represents hate, that represents supremacy, and they okay with that because they're disconnected from their reality, disconnected from their history, and disconnected from their people, because they don't see themselves as equal to their people. They see themselves better. Everybody else is beneath them, because now that the white tea people have accepted them into their camp, they feel special. They feel important, not really recognizing the fact that they're only being used to abuse their own people. They don't get it. That's why they're so comfortable in what they're doing. But this is not the time for us to sit back and complain and arguing amongst ourselves. What really needs to happen is that we need to unite. We need to come together. We need to fight. And I'm not talking about literally going out in the street and fight. I mean, we can't fight against the government like, some folks think we can get out there and just do this, that, and the other. It doesn't work that way. You got to be smart. You got to be wise. You got to have a strategy. Because right now it's about survival, right? It's about surviving. Okay, we're losing a lot. We're losing a lot that we should have as citizens in this country. We should have equal things to them, but they don't want us to have anything. But we can't worry about that. So we need to support organizations that are trying to uh, build a solid foundation for us to thrive on, such as Life and Community Solutions Association. We need to support that organization because they are addressing the issues in the area of food, in the area of healthcare, in the area of education, in the area of safety and security. Life and Community Solutions Association is seeking to do those things, but they're going to need all of our help to make it happen. And these are the type of organizations that we need to be talking about right now. We, as a people, have to focus on ourselves to save our families, our communities, our children, our education system, our health system, safety. Got to look out for one another now. And we got to be careful who we trust because we can't trust everybody. Can't even trust our own, let alone some European white tea person. We can't even trust our own. So we got to be careful about that too. Got to move in silence. Because if you don't move in silence, you're going to find yourself disappointed, find yourself getting into something you're going to regret, and you're not going to be able to accomplish what you're trying to accomplish. I'm not scared. I'm not afraid because I've lived my life. I've lived a full life. And though I do desire to live longer, I don't hold that decision. I'm going to speak on what's right. I'm going to stand up for what's right. And I'm going to try to make the right decisions to help not only me, my family, and my community, but all others who look like me, who get it, who understand, the repeated history that we're living in right now, who understand that we have people that hate us. They don't care about us, they don't love us. That's why they vote against us every single time. They vote against us. They don't vote for us, they vote against us. As they claim they vote for Americans, but then again, they don't see us as Americans. They see us as anything other than that. It's so funny to me and weird to me that people claim something that is not, that wasn't even theirs originally. And they do it with so much arrogancy. And they speak with so much boldness about their America, knowing history says otherwise. But that's what hate causes you to do. That's how hate causes you to think. It pushes you to think that way because you think you're better than everybody else and everyone else is beneath you. But yet, your life is no better than your next door neighbor. You're working just like everybody else. You're living in an apartment or a trailer or a boathouse, and I mean a small one. Or maybe you live in a tent on somebody's farm or somebody else's land, and you're white. No better. But somebody came along and told you you were. Somebody came along and told you you living that way because of those folks over there. And then when we speak on it, We're the ones with the problem. We're racist. Now everybody crying around here, where the black people? Where the black folks? What you want our bodies out there to be unalived for you? You want us to go out there and march so you can turn around and turn the law on us and throw us in jail and unalive us, and then you guys go back into your homes and set back like ain't nothing ever happened? Nothing ever happened after we get in the front line and fight for on the behalf of you, for you. You want us to do that? Nah, it ain't that kind of party no more. Ain't nobody doing that because we know, we get it. We woke. We woke. And the ironic thing is many of you bought this idea that woke was such a terrible thing, when many of you don't even know what it means because you don't fact check nothing. You just accept whatever come out of somebody's mouth and you run with it. And then when somebody interview you and ask you what it is, you say, I don't know what it is. I just know it's a bad thing because it got to do with the black people, and I know anything got to do with the black people is a bad thing. Walking right into their hands. And then when we organize, you guys want to be a part of it. Why do you want to be a part of it? Why do you want to be a part of black organizations? Why do you want to join the team? What's your motive? What's your reasoning? You didn't join us when we was out here voting. You didn't join us when we was out here marching. You didn't join us when we were out here screaming and yelling on the, for our bodies that was laying in the street because some kind of some corrupt cop or individual that thought it was okay to unalive an innocent child and leave him in the street. Where were you then? Yeah, that was a few of you here and there, and count on my hand. But other than that, rest of you was at home watching, talking about, oh, how sad. We're going to pray. Have your prayers been answered?